The outer edge of the galaxy was quiet. Stars blinked slowly in the cold darkness. Far from the core planets and space lanes, only old machines moved. One of them was a deep space signal station called Relay 9. It was small, forgotten, and run by only a few workers. Among them was a young alien named Karo. Karo was from a peaceful species called the Alari. He had smooth blue skin, round black eyes, and thin hands. He was calm and smart but often bored. His job at Relay 9 was to check signals that came from deep space. Most of them were just noise-dead satellites, old transmissions, drifting rocks. But Karo still listened every day. He believed that one day something strange would come through. That day came when he least expected it. The morning shift began like usual. Karo sat at his desk, sipping warm fruit tea and watching the data scroll across the screen. Suddenly, a sharp tone rang out. The screen flashed red. A signal had been caught hold, strong and steady. Karo blinked and leaned closer. The code was ancient, but he recognized the format. It was human. His heart raced. Human, he whispered. But they're gone. Humanity had disappeared from the galaxy over 300 years ago, after the Great Wars. The humans had sealed their systems and sent one final message to the Galactic Assembly. They said they would not return. Some believed they had destroyed themselves. Others thought they had gone to another galaxy. No one knew for sure, and no one had seen a human ship since. But this signal, it came from a human beacon, and the code matched one known from the war archives. Karo opened the waveform and saw it clearly. Origin, Soul Titan status, returning. He stared at the name, Soul Titan. He had read about it in school. It was the most powerful ship humans ever built. A supercarrier. It was said to carry thousands of fighters, planetary weapons, and a shield system that could survive a star's flare. But Soul Titan had vanished during the last battle. Many believed it had been destroyed. Yet now its beacon was active. Karo saved the data and called his superior, a grumpy older Saraxi named Dalvin. This better be important, Dalvin growled. Through the screen, Karo pointed to the signal. It's from Soul Titan. It's real. Look at the code. Dalvin scanned the data, then frowned. That ship is a myth. This must be a copycat signal. No, sir, Karo said. It's genuine. The frequency and data format match the old human war records exactly. This is not a trick. Dalvin looked again. Slowly, his face changed. I'll send this to Central Command. Keep tracking it. The signal continued for hours, moving steadily through the far sector. It wasn't trying to hide. In fact, it seemed like it wanted to be seen. The beacon pulsed every few minutes, always repeating the same message. Soul Titan returning, human command restore peace. Or preparation. The last line confused many. What did it mean? Was it a warning? When the news reached the Galactic Assembly, fear spread fast. The oldest members remembered the power of human ships. The younger ones had only heard stories. But the name Soul Titan was known to all. It was said to be larger than any city ship, faster than most cruisers, and strong enough to break moons. If it had returned, then humanity was no longer hiding. On the capital world of Juna Prime, leaders gathered in a high chamber to discuss the message. An older war historian named Farrell stood before them. His voice was steady but serious. This signal is not a trick, he said. Soul Titan was never destroyed. It was simply lost. Now, it has returned, and we must prepare for contact. One council member, a pale-skinned Sorel named Vano, leaned forward. Are you saying humans are coming back? Farrell nodded. Yes, and they are coming in their strongest ship. The room fell silent. Outside the meeting hall, news channels began to report on the signal. Some called it the return of an ancient friend. Others said it was the rise of an old enemy. People across the galaxy watched in fear and wonder. Back on Relay 9, Karo couldn't stop watching the signal's path. It was moving straight toward the center of the galaxy. Not fast but steady, as if it was in no hurry, as if it knew. No one could stop it. Karo whispered to himself. What do they want? His screen blinked again. A new data burst came through. It was short but full of detail. A scan from the edge showed the ship itself, grainy, but clear, a massive black vessel, larger than any station Caro had ever seen. Its shape was like a long blade, smooth and dark, with glowing panels along the sides. Even from far away, its presence felt heavy. Soul Titan, Caro whispered, "It's real." He sat back in his chair. The galaxy had changed without humans. New empires had risen. Borders had shifted. Peace had come and gone many times. But now, something old and powerful had returned, and no one understood why. The stars felt colder that night. The galaxy, once used to the idea that humans were gone, now had to face a truth it had buried long ago. Humanity was not gone. Humanity was returning, and the galaxy couldn't comprehend what that meant. The signal from Soul Titan had now traveled through over 20 star systems. Each time it passed near a station or ship, it repeated the same quiet message. The words were not loud, but their meaning was strong. In every place it reached, fear followed. For the first time in many years, the Galactic Assembly called for an emergency meeting. Leaders from all known species gathered in the Grand Dome on Juna Prime. The room was filled with voices, arguments, and nervous energy. At the center of the chamber, the council chairwoman, Selnara of the Virin, raised her hand for silence. "This signal is not going away," she said, "and it is not being sent by any known pirate or rebel group. The ship named Soul Titan is real. It is returning." A thin, tall being named Markle stood up. He was from the Shal, a species known for logic and data. "Chairwoman," he said, "if this is truly the lost Supercarrier, then we must remember history. That ship carried weapons that could destroy entire fleets. The last record of its appearance was during the fall of the Fourth War Era. It vanished after that. Some say it entered the black zone near Earth's system." Another voice joined in. It was Rinna, a bold warrior from the Varn. "We cannot allow that ship to move freely through our space if humans are coming back. We need to stop them before they reach any populated system." But others disagreed. A calm thinker named Dovin from the peaceful Roka said, "We should not act with fear. We do not know the reason for their return. Attacking without understanding could lead to another war." Voices rose again. Some were afraid, others were curious, but all of them knew one thing: Soul Titan was no ordinary ship, and humans were no ordinary species. Across the galaxy, news spread fast. On trading worlds and science stations, people began asking questions. What did the humans want? Why had they stayed silent for so long? And why now? Many still remembered old stories. Even though humans had not been seen in centuries, their name had never been forgotten. They were the ones who had built machines that lived for thousands of years. They had created ships that moved faster than any other. They had once helped stop a galaxy-wide war, then left without explanation. Some species had loved them, others had feared them, but no one had ignored them. Now, with the return of Soul Titan, the past had come back to life. At a large university on the planet Narvin, Professor Mira, a human historian, not human herself, but a researcher of human history, stood in front of her students. "This is not just a signal," she said. "It is a test. The humans are watching to see how we respond. Their technology was ahead of ours before they left. If they were building in secret all this time, they may now be far beyond us." One student raised his hand. "Professor, do you think they want war?" Mira shook her head slowly. "I don't know, but humans never acted without purpose. They are planners, builders, thinkers. If they have returned, it means something important is coming." Back on Relay 9, Caro continued to track the signal. His small station had become famous overnight. He was now in contact with science teams from across the galaxy. Everyone wanted his data. Ships passed by his sector often now, scanning the path of Soul Titan. But no one dared get too close. Caro stared at the new data coming in. The ship's speed had increased slightly, still slow, but now moving with more focus, like it had chosen its next stop. He opened a message link and called his supervisor, Dalvin. "It's heading towards Sector 4C, Caro said. That's near the old Human Watch station. Dolvin frowned. You mean observation point Theta? Yes, Caro replied. The one we left untouched for years. Dolvin looked worried. That station was deactivated long ago. If they go there, maybe they're trying to recover something, or someone, Caro added quietly. In deep space, Soul Titan moved through. The black like a ghost. Its hull was dark and smooth. No lights blinked from its surface. But its energy field left trails in the scanner waves of any ship near it. A few brave explorers tried to follow it, but their systems overheated or shut down after getting too close. No weapons were fired. No threats were made. Yet every ship that approached knew one thing. They were small, and Soul Titan was not on a small patrol cruiser. Captain Darrell of the Murin fleet sat quietly as his crew watched the carrier from a distance. He had never seen anything like it. It's not just big. His science officer said, it's layered. There are systems. Under systems, I can't even scan to the center of it. Captain Darrell nodded. This is not a ship made for just travel. It's made to last forever. A quiet voice from his pilot whispered, do you think they're watching us? Darrell looked out the window. He didn't know, but he felt something, like eyes behind. A dark curtain. On Juno Prime, the assembly gathered again. This time, the mood had changed. There was less yelling, more silence. Fear was no longer the only feeling. Now there was wonder, respect, maybe even guilt. Chairwoman Selnara stood once more. We must decide. She said, do we reach out? Do we prepare for war? Or do we wait? The room was quiet. No one answered right away, because deep down, they all knew the truth. They were not in control. Soul Titan had returned, and whatever the humans wanted, the galaxy would have to listen. Far beyond the nearest star, inside the heart of the great black vessel, lights began to turn on slowly. Soft white glow moved through long silver hallways. Machines hummed quietly. Doors opened and closed by themselves. It was like the ship was waking up from a long sleep. Inside a sealed chamber at the center of the ship, a pod hissed open. A figure lay inside, still and quiet. The pod released warm air and scanned the body inside. Then, slowly, the woman inside opened her eyes. Her name was Mira. She was captain of the Soul Titan. She sat up and took a deep breath. The chamber lights adjusted to her body temperature. She looked around, confused at first, then calm. Her training returned quickly. Her mind was sharp. Status report, she said in a clear voice. A soft female voice answered from the air around her. Welcome back, Captain Mira. This is Ada, your ship AI. We are 2 hours from observation point Theta. All systems are online. Signal transmission to outer space has been running for 12 days. Mira stepped out of the pod and stretched her arms. Her uniform hung neatly beside her. She dressed quickly and walked out into the hallway. Is Earth still silent? She asked. Yes, said Ada. No contact from Earth Command. Our mission continues. Mira moved through the clean halls of the ship. Every wall held hidden sensors. Every door opened just before she reached it. The Soul Titan felt alive. How much time has passed since we entered deep stasis? She asked. Ada answered calmly. 312 years. Mira stopped walking. She took a slow breath. We waited that long? Yes, Ada replied. The order was to wait until the galaxy settled, then return. Mira nodded. And have they settled? Ada paused. Unknown. But their response to our signal is filled with fear. Mira entered the command bridge. It was wide, open, and full of glowing panels. Holograms floated in the air. One showed the galaxy map. Tiny lights blinked across different sectors. Some were red, some green. All of them were watching. Ada showed the latest transmission logs. The assembly has debated our signal for 5 full cycles, she said. Some members suggest peace. Others suggest a first strike. Mira sat in the captain's chair, placed in the center of the bridge. The seat adjusted to her weight. The air around her changed to match her breathing. Everything in the ship was made for her. I don't want war, Mira said softly. But if they fire first, we must respond. Understood, Ada said. Mira looked at the map again. What about observation point Theta? What will we find? Ada's tone grew quiet. It was a research outpost, last used during the final Earth expansion. There may still be data stored inside, possibly survivors in cryo. Anyone we know? Mira asked. I will not know until we dock. Ada replied, but I detected a low-power human signature 2 hours ago. Faint, but real. Mira stood again and walked toward the large window. Ahead of them, in the black of space, a small station slowly came into view. It was round, broken in places, and covered in dark dust. Its lights were off. It looked empty. But Mira knew better. That station was once home to hundreds of Earth. Scientists, it may still hold answers. Prepare for docking, she said. Yes, Captain. Docking arms extended from Sol Titan. They connected with the old station's outer ring. The ship sealed the connection and began to send power into the station's systems. Lights turned on. One by one, air flowed again through dead halls. Cameras reactivated. Mira stepped onto the boarding platform. Her boots made soft sounds on the metal floor. She carried no weapon. Are you sure you want to go alone? Ada asked from her earpiece. Yes, Mira said. If there are survivors, they will respond better to a human face. The doors opened, and Mira stepped inside observation point Theta. Dust floated in the air. Machines lined the walls. Some were broken. Some still blinked weak lights. She moved carefully through the halls, passing old chairs, storage units, and nameplates. The past felt close. A voice suddenly came from one of the rooms. Halt. Identify. Mira froze. The voice was mechanical, but old. It came from a security system. Captain Mira, of the Earth vessel Sol Titan, she replied. There was silence. Then the door clicked and opened. Inside was a cryo chamber. One pod remained active. Inside it, a man slept, eyes closed, breath steady. Ada spoke in Mira's ear. His ID matches Earth researcher Elias Venn. He was the last head scientist of this station. Wake him, Mira said. The pod hissed. Warm air filled the room. Slowly, Elias opened his eyes. He blinked at Mira, then smiled weakly. You came back. Yes, Mira said. We did. He looked tired but calm. I thought we were forgotten. Mira helped him sit up. Not forgotten. Delayed. The mission was long. But now we return. Elias touched the edge of the pod. What year is it? Mira told him. He sat quietly for a moment. Then the galaxy is different now. Yes, she said. And they don't understand us. Elias smiled sadly. They never did. Mira helped him stand. We will show them we come with peace. But we are prepared for anything. Back on the Sol Titan, the crew began to wake one by one. Hundreds of stasis pods opened slowly. Human officers and engineers stepped out, calm and quiet. Each one trained. Each one ready. Ada sent out a new signal. This one was stronger than before. It spread across space like a wave. Human Command activated peaceful return, initiated awaiting response of galaxy watched in. Silence. The humans had returned, and they had just begun to speak. The new signal from Sol Titan moved through every system it passed. It was clear, strong, and simple. It was not a threat. It was not a demand. But it held a message that touched every government and every fleet across the galaxy. Human Command activated peaceful return, initiated awaiting response in the capital world Juna Prime. The Galactic Assembly had no more time to argue. After 3 emergency meetings and non-stop debates, they finally made a decision. They would send a team to meet the humans, not in battle, not with weapons, but in words. The Assembly chose a diplomat named Rennick to lead the mission. He was from the kind and careful Polaris species. His skin was soft gray, and his wide green eyes were known for seeing both truth and danger. Rennick was respected by many for his calm voice and wise thinking. He had helped stop wars before. Now, he would try to stop one before it even began. Before leaving, the council chairwoman, Selnara, spoke to him. Speak with care, she said. We do not know their purpose, but we must try to understand it. Rennick bowed. I will listen, and I will return with answers. The diplomatic ship, Silver Light, left the capital and began its journey towards Soul Titan. Rennick was joined by a small team of peace envoys and scientists. No weapons were allowed on board. The assembly wanted to show that their purpose was trust, not fear. As the silver light moved closer to the last known location of Soul Titan, its crew grew silent. Even the experienced pilots had never seen a ship like this before. When the Supercarrier appeared on their long-range scans, its size filled the entire map. "It's not just a ship," one of the envoys whispered. "It's a city made for war." Rennick stood near the front window, looking at the dark shape ahead. There were no blinking lights, no open hangars, but the power readings were higher than any known ship. It was like the heart of the star had been placed inside steel. Walls. A message came through. It was short and polite. Docking path confirmed. "Welcome, Silver Light," Rennick replied. "We come in peace, with open hands." No answer came, but the ship's docking bay opened. As the small diplomatic shuttle moved inside the hangar, the crew stared in wonder. The space was wide, clean, and filled with quiet machines. The walls looked smooth like glass, but sensors showed they were layered with metal too strong to scan. Rennick stepped out first. The floor under his feet was warm. Gravity was perfect. A group of humans stood ahead, waiting. Their uniforms were sharp, black and gray, without weapons. At the center of the group stood Captain Mira. Rennick walked forward and placed a hand over his chest. The traditional greeting of his people. "I am Rennick of Polari, sent by the Galactic Assembly," he said. "We welcome your return." Mira nodded. "Captain Mira, commander of Soul Titan, we come with peaceful purpose, but we come prepared." Her words were calm, but her eyes were sharp. She was watching every move. Rennick smiled gently. "Many fear your return. Some remember stories. Others have only heard legends. They do not know what you bring." Mira looked around the hangar. "We bring knowledge and warning." Rennick raised his head. "Warning?" Mira nodded. "The galaxy forgot what humans are capable of, but we did not stop building. We watched, we learned, and we grew." Rennick listened without fear. "Why return now?" Mira took a breath. "Because soon, something is coming. Something old. Something even we don't fully understand, and the galaxy is not ready." Rennick's eyes narrowed. "What is this threat?" Mira looked at him with a serious face. "Not all things were lost in time. Some things were simply sleeping, deep in the edge systems. Something is waking. We detected movement outside the known charts, and if we face it alone, we will all fall." Rennick was silent for a moment. Then he asked, "Then your return is a warning and a call for unity?" Mira nodded once. "Yes. But we know trust is not given quickly. So we offer this meeting as the first step." Rennick bowed. "Then let it be that step." Mira led Rennick and his team through parts of the ship. They saw rooms full of growing food, clean water systems, training halls, and old Earth symbols. The ship was not just a weapon. It was a living world, designed to survive anything. Rennick stopped near a window and looked out. "You kept your ship hidden for over 300 years, he said. "Why keep the galaxy in silence?" Mira answered, "Because when humans spoke last, they were not ready for peace. Neither was the galaxy. We chose silence to stop destruction. Now we return to help shape a new path or to defend it, if needed." When the tour ended, Mira and Rennick stood again in the docking bay. Rennick said, "The assembly will want to speak with you directly. Will you come to Juno Prime?" Mira shook her head. "Not yet. We will speak again. But the next move is yours." Rennick nodded. "Then I will return and share your message." As Rennick's shuttle left Soul Titan, he looked back one last time. The ship stood quiet and still, but he felt it, power like nothing else, a force waiting beneath the surface, and the words of Mira stayed in his mind. Something is coming. When the silver light returned to Juno Prime, the assembly waited in silence. Rennick stood before them and spoke clearly. "They have not returned for war, but they are not weak. They offer peace, but they hold strength, and they say the galaxy must prepare for something greater." The council chairwoman asked, "Do you believe them?" Rennick thought for a moment, then said, "I do, And across the galaxy, leaders began to wonder, had the humans returned as friends? Or is the last hope before something worse arrived? The message from Rennick reached every corner of the galaxy. Some leaders were relieved. Others remained afraid. But most of all, people were curious. The name Soul Titan became the center of every news report, council meeting, and private conversation. What kind of power did it really carry? And why did the humans wait so long to return? Many wanted to believe that humans had changed, that they were wiser now. But others feared that the Supercarrier was more than just a ship. They feared it was a signal, a reminder, a warning. That fear became real when a group of pirate ships attacked near the outer colony world of Turnies. For the pirates were a mix of outlaws from different species. They had stolen ships and basic weapons. They had no strong leader. But they were bold and careless. When they saw a small human observation drone near the Turnies border, they decided to destroy it. They laughed as they fired missiles toward the tiny machine. The drone didn't fight back. It didn't even move. 3 seconds later, everything changed. A flash of light cut through space. It wasn't bright. It wasn't loud. But the pirate ships stopped moving. Engines died. Weapons melted. Shields vanished. One by one, the ships lost all control and drifted, silent and powerless. No explosion. No fire, no noise, just silence from far away. A group of patrol scouts recorded it all. They didn't see a laser. They didn't see missiles. But they saw the pirate fleet go dark. In an instant, a few seconds later, a large shadow passed on their scans. Soul Titan. The Supercarrier had not fired a weapon in the normal way. There was no visible attack. The system had used something else, something faster than sound, faster than light. The scouts sent the data to their command center. Within hours, every major government had the same recording. They watched it again, and each time they saw the same thing, power that should not exist. Back on Soul Titan, Captain Mira stood on the bridge. Her hands were resting on the command panel. "Did we cause any deaths?" she asked. "No," replied Ada, the ship's AI. "We disabled all systems, not life support. The pirates were stopped. No lives were taken." Mira nodded. "Good. That was a warning. One the galaxy will not forget." Ada's voice was calm. "It has already spread. We are being watched more closely now." Mira turned toward the main screen. A list of active scans was growing. Dozens of ships were now tracking them from different directions. "They're afraid," Mira said. Double quotes, "Yes." Ada answered. "And now they believe." Meanwhile, on Juna Prime, the Galactic Assembly met once again. This time, the chamber was quieter. The fear was no longer just about the humans. It was about what they could do without even raising their voice. Council Chairwoman Selnara spoke to the members. "You have seen the proof. The Soul Titan stopped an entire pirate fleet in seconds. Not with bombs, not with fire, but with control over systems we do not understand." Markle of the Shawl stood and said, "That ship is not only powerful, it is precise. It could have destroyed those pirates completely, but it did not." Rena of the Varn frowned. "Or perhaps it is only showing a small part of what it can do." Dovin of the Aroka leaned forward. "If humans can do this without harm, perhaps they are offering a better way. Perhaps they are showing us that peace does not need to be weak." The room went silent for a moment. Then Selnara said, "Captain Mira warned us. She said something is coming, something not even they fully understand. I believe we must listen." Across the galaxy, opinions began to change. A few brave leaders reached out to the humans. They asked for help in training, in science, in defense. Mira responded kindly, but gave one rule. "We will not control you. We will not lead you, but we will stand beside you." On a distant moon called Tralex, a group of scientists visited an old listening post where the pirate attack had been recorded. One young researcher named Pavin studied the data again and again. "I still don't understand," he said to his team. "There are no energy spikes, no shock waves, no weapon trail, just silence." And then shut down. An older scientist replied, "The humans use something we've never seen, something that does not burn, but ends the fight Pavan looked out at the stars. It's not just a weapon. It's a message. They're saying, we don't need to hurt you to stop you. Back aboard Soul Titan, Ada brought up a new report. Captain, several governments are requesting your help to improve their systems. They want to learn. Mira smiled. We won't give them weapons, but we can give them understanding. Begin with communication upgrades and shield design. Teach them how to protect, not destroy. Yes, Captain. Just then, another signal came in. It was private, from Earth. Mira opened it quickly. A face appeared. It was Director Halem, leader of Earth Command. He looked older, but proud. You have done well, Captain, he said. The galaxy has seen what we carry, and now they begin to listen. But the danger we warned you about is still moving. Reports from the edge zones show strange ship movements. Stay ready. And remember, we may not be the only ones watching. Mira nodded. We're ready, sir. We'll stand as the first line. The signal ended. Mira turned to Ada. Begin preparing the outer skin drones, she said. We need to see further. Whatever is coming, we must be the first to face it. Ada replied, understood. Preparing now. In the quiet of deep space, Soul Titan began to shift. Its panels moved, its inner systems adjusted. New energy flowed through its veins. The ship was calm, but every part of it was alert. The galaxy now knew the truth. The humans had not come back to conquer, but they had come back with strength. And the ship that once vanished had now become the shield of the stars. The Galactic Assembly was quiet after Renok's report. The leaders sat in heavy silence, thinking about what the humans had said. The idea that something was coming made everyone uneasy. The galaxy had grown peaceful for many cycles. Now, the return of Soul Titan changed everything. Chairwoman Selnara stood slowly. Her voice was soft but clear. We must ask the humans why they waited so long. Why did they leave and watch? What made them return now? Renok nodded. They told me they have been watching the galaxy, from the edges, from hidden places. They wanted to see if the races could live without war. A new meeting was called with Captain Mira and her team. The Assembly sent a delegation to meet again aboard Soul Titan. This time, more people came. Scientists, diplomats, and soldiers from many species. The tension was high, but the hope was stronger. Mira greeted the delegation in the Great Hall of the ship. The walls were smooth and shining. The air was warm and clean. People looked around in wonder. It felt like walking inside a giant living machine. Mira stood at the front. We did not leave because we wanted to disappear. We left because the galaxy was broken. We could not fix it from within. An older scientist from the Aroka, named Talon, raised his hand. But why watch from afar? Why not help sooner? Mira looked at him. Because we had to build first, our own strength, our own peace. When we last fought, the galaxy was filled with hate and fear. We could not risk more damage. A young representative from the Seraxi, called Jorel, added, So you waited for peace to grow. Yes, Mira said. We waited for the wounds to heal. But we never stopped learning. We never stopped growing. Renok spoke next. And now you return because the peace is at risk? Mira nodded. Yes. We see shadows moving beyond the known borders. Old enemies waking from the past. Forces that could destroy everything. The hall grew quiet. A quiet voice came from a Varn scientist. What kind of forces? Mira paused. We do not know. But our sensors detect energy signatures that do not match any known ship or weapon. They are growing stronger. Talon looked concerned. Then your warning is a call. To unite? Yes, Mira said firmly. The galaxy is stronger together. If we fight apart, we will lose. A human officer stepped forward. We bring knowledge and help, not control. Mira continued, our ship, Soul Titan, is built for defense and survival. We will stand with those who choose peace. But we will also be ready if war comes. The assembly members looked at each other. Some nodded slowly. Others still seemed unsure. But all understood the weight of her words later. Renok met with Mira privately. Do you really believe this threat is real? He asked. Mira looked out at the stars. Yes, we do not fear it yet, but we respect it, Renok sighed. Your return has changed the galaxy. Some are afraid, some hopeful, but all listen." Mira smiled softly. "That is all we wanted, to be heard, to prepare, to help." Outside Soul Titan, the galaxy waited. New alliances formed. Old rivalries paused. Ships from many species began joint exercises. Technology exchanges increased. The humans shared plans for defense grids, shield systems, and faster communication. Caro, from Relay 9, watched the news with wonder. His quiet life had changed forever. The galaxy was waking up to a new future, and humans were at the center. One night, Mira stood alone on the ship's observation deck. Stars stretched before her like endless jewels. She thought of Earth, silent and far away, of the long years in stasis, of the mission still ahead. Ada's voice came softly. "Captain, new readings show movement near the edge of the galaxy." Mira nodded. "Prepare the fleet. It is time." The galaxy held its breath, because when humanity returned, it was not just with a ship. It was with a promise that the stars would never be the same again. The galaxy was alive with hope and tension. After centuries of peace and quiet, the return of Soul Titan had brought a new light and a new shadow. Everyone knew something was coming, something bigger than any war before. But for now, there was calm. Captain Mira stood on the bridge of Soul Titan. The ship hummed softly around her. Outside, stars streaked by as the Supercarrier moved slowly toward the edge of the galaxy. This was where the new threat was growing, where the unknown was waiting. Beside her, Ada, the ship's AI, spoke quietly. "Scans show increased activity near the outer systems. Unknown vessels are gathering." Mira nodded. "Prepare the fleet. We cannot wait any longer." Ships from many species had joined Soul Titan. Fleets of cruisers, frigates, and scouts formed. A wide circle around the Supercarrier. It was the largest joint force the galaxy had ever seen. The ships moved as one, their pilots ready and focused. Among them was Captain Darrell from the Murin fleet. He had once been skeptical of humans. Now, he watched the humans' calm strength and felt respect. "We're lucky to have them," he said to his crew. "This is not just a ship, it's a symbol, a sign we are stronger together." Meanwhile, in the Galactic Assembly on Juna Prime, leaders waited for updates. Council Chairwoman Selnara spoke to the crowd. "This is the moment we have prepared for. The galaxy stands united. Thanks to humans, we see a new path forward, a new dawn." Back on Soul Titan, Mira prepared to send a message to the unknown fleet. "Tell them we come in peace," she said, "but we will defend ourselves." The message was sent across space. It traveled through stars and silence. The reply was slow to come. Then, a single ship appeared at the edge of the fleet's scanners. It was unlike anything seen before. Large, dark, with sharp edges that seemed to cut through space itself. No flags, no signs of life. Mira's eyes narrowed. "They're not hiding." The ship moved closer. As it approached, more ships appeared behind it. A fleet had come. The new fleet did not attack. Instead, it formed a line, silent and watchful. Rennick stood beside Mira. "Do they want war or peace?" Mira shook her head. "We will find out." A voice came from Soul Titan's communication system. It was cold and strange. "We have watched you return," it said. "Humans, you think you are ready. But the galaxy is older than. You know, we are the Watchers of the Edge. We guard what should not be disturbed." Mira answered calmly. "We do not want to fight. We come to protect all life. We come to warn you. The galaxy must unite or fall." The voice laughed softly. "Warnings are for the weak. We are beyond war. We are the silence before the storm." Suddenly, the strange fleet moved forward. The battle was about to begin. Mira turned to her crew. "Prepare for defense. We fight not to conquer, but to survive." Ships in the Allied fleet powered up their weapons and shields. The stars seemed to hold their breath. Then, with a flash of light, the first wave hit. Lasers cut through the darkness. Shields flared. Explosions lit the cold space. But Soul Titan stood strong. Its defenses absorbed and pushed back. The Allied fleet fought bravely, side by side. Captain Darrell called out, "Hold the line. We fight as one." The battle raged for hours. Slowly, the unknown fleet began to fall back. They did not expect such strength, and Unity. Mara sent out a final message. "We are not your enemy. Let us end this before more lives are lost." The strange voice returned, softer this time. "We will watch, for now." And then the fleet disappeared. Into the dark. The galaxy breathed a silent sigh of relief. Back on Juna Prime, the assembly cheered. Leaders embraced. The new hope was real. Mara looked out at the stars. The battle had only begun. But humanity's return had changed everything. The galaxy was no longer divided. It was united. A new dawn had come. The stars shone brighter. And the future waited.